All right, everybody, what's up? And welcome to your reading for the new moon in Gemini happening on the 17th of June in the Northern Hemisphere and the 18th of June in the Southern Hemisphere. I really love the new moon in Gemini. I have two of my best girlfriends who are both Geminis, and so I really love feeling like I can support at this time of year and boost that energy as we move closer to the summer solstice as well, which is going to be on the 21st of June in the Northern Hemisphere. And so there's a mix. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what comes through with the astrology for a lot of people on the public sphere on YouTube, because yes, astrologically, and yes, with the sun and the natural cycles, we do have a lot of light energy coming in, but we also have a lot of cosmic light energy entering the planet. There's a conversation with Rory Duff that Pam Gregory, who's an astrologer that I follow devoutly, they have a conversation together and they talk about this in scientific terms. And so what that means for our consciousness and our evolution is that we're also going to be purging the last bit of crap that we need to release so that we can evolve and so that we can make these huge leaps in who we are and how we're living our lives and how we move forward. Now, just like how these conversations are for one color of the collective rainbow, and if it resonates with you, then this reading is meant for you. With light consciousness and evolution, not everybody is going to be ready to take that leap. And so being mindful of the fact that if you really feel that's not for me, or I'm not in that space, or none of this is happening to me, it might be because you have other things that you're dealing with, or you're not in a space, or maybe you haven't opened your mind conceptually to the fact that you really can make these massive leaps in who you are, what you're doing for a living, how you're living your life, and the abundance that you bring in, including love. So that being said, we're gonna hop into the reading. Oh, I know what I was gonna bring up. I was like, ADHD moment, losing the train of thought there. With all this light energy entering the planet, and these, a lot of astrologers are going to say that this new moon is about playfulness and joy and happiness, and Gemini is very playful and mischievous, and there's a lot of communication, and it's very quick, it's very mental, but for some of you it's going to be bringing up a lot of grief and a lot of deep release. And if you follow my newsletter or me in writing on medium.com, I talk about this in my most recent newsletter, that it's often people, the expression is that it's the darkest before the dawn, but it's more that the dark is coming through so that the dawn can shine clearly. And so if you feel like you're having a shit time, or things are hard, or things just aren't reflecting what you feel like should be happening in nature, don't worry, because it just means that you're actually doing the clearing and you're going through that spiral to meet some of your challenges again and fully release them this time, so that you can actually absorb and take in all that light energy that's coming into the planet right now. I'll put the link to sign up for my newsletter as the first link in the description box below on YouTube. And I will put the link to the conversation with Rory Duff as well. It is quite interesting. You do kind of have to slow down and really listen to what he's saying. Yeah, it's an interesting thing to follow. So getting into this reading. Yeah, okay, so this is playing off of what I was talking about with the needing to greet that darkness and see that depth and that sludge as a positive cleansing, a positive, great, this is coming out now so that I can deal with it and go all the way through it, and then I can really move into my new opportunity fully prepared. Because if we're not fully prepared for the opportunities that are coming toward us, then we're not actually going to be able to take full advantage of them. And this is really heralding the fact that the stuff that is coming towards you is going to be very powerful and very magic and very majestical. There is a general shifting of the tides. The divine feminine is on the rise. Black women are on the rise. This is an incredibly beautiful, essential, powerful thing to our survival as humans. The more women of color, marginalized people of color, marginalized genders, more people not in the binary, the more of those people who are in charge, the greater chance we have of shifting to a place of survival and thrival and making it really as a planet. We'll have a greater chance. And so on a more personal level, greeting this courageous spot in our lives, greeting this moment of, man, everybody else seems to be moving on with their lives and I'm hit with this really difficult moment, or I thought I'd cleared all this stuff and it's coming back. It takes really great courage to be able to actually move through that fully and step out of it fully. For a lot of us, that often means leaving behind friendships, relationships, the way that we relate to our family, location, job, a lot of stuff that we've used to create ourselves, to make ourselves feel comfortable. And if we think about it, a lot of the building blocks that we've used to make ourselves feel comfortable, we did out of the starting gate. And if we look back at a piece of writing or a piece of art that we made when we were 6, we've evolved since then. And so if we look at the lives that we created out of the gate after high school, as young adults, whatever, we've really evolved since then. You've evolved since then. So recognize that maybe what you've created that you think is pretty good is actually just the starting block of what you could be headed towards. But it takes courage to get there. Okay. These cards are really playing into each other today. We're on the same line. So for some of you, this grief piece, some of you, this is just going to feel like a challenging time, but for some of you, this is really going to be a deep grief piece. And I know in my own personal life, I just moved through a massive grief wave. I'm still dancing with it and meeting it and speaking with it around death and loss and responsibility and showing up and forgiveness, self-forgiveness, all these really big topics. And for a lot of us, it's going to be a big moment like that, either a relationship ending or a spat with a partner or a moment with a spouse or a parent that you just really want to be understood and you feel like you're not being heard still. And this is an opportunity for you to show up in a different way. Can you greet your inner child in a different way? Can you greet yourself in a different way and hold yourself through that process? I know for myself, when things get challenging, I have quite an addictive personality, and so I get into a cycle of these 3 vices that I have for addiction, which for me are usually coffee, or caffeine, weed, and sugar. And that may seem relatively harmless, but if you knew me well, the ways in which I abuse those on such a tight circuit for the amount of days, it's really, really self-destructive. And it's, I would say, almost as destructive as, I'm not even going to make a comparison because I can't compare other choices, but these habits, these ways of being, the way that we respond to pain, they are going to come up. And this healing card is really showing us that we are not in the same place that we were a month ago, 3 months ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. And that you have a chance, you have an opportunity for healing here where you can really show up as a different version of yourself. And so what does a tiny little baby step in the right direction look like? Just a tiny baby step. It doesn't have to be that you do everything right. It doesn't have to be that you totally miss the missteps you normally take, but but what is one tiny little thing that you can do to show yourself some self-compassion and forgiveness, and to move into this space of seeing that you're actually pretty all right, and that the more that you treat yourself as such, the easier things get. It's funny, this time of year, we know when light consciousness is entering the planet, because this time of year is supposed to feel so light and easy and summery, etc. And we're going through this like deep time. But it really is like a really, really beautiful opportunity, and a lot less heavy than when these kind of healing moments come up in the winter. Okay, this is a classic Gemini. This is going to be a double-edged sword of a card for a lot of you. So, or it's going to represent one thing for half of you and one thing for the other. We'll see if we can get it to focus. There we go. So, for some of you, this is going to feel like a mix of, this feels like a great adventure. Maybe it's a new relationship, or you're taking a trip, or you're moving on to something. And it might feel really exciting and like there's a lot of energy behind it. But be really mindful. Like, the Air Guardian is a lot about flightiness and this, oh, sorry, I found a tick on me. Welcome to Nova Scotia. This flightiness and inability to see things clearly, because you're just leaping at everything that is coming towards you. And so be really conscious that this flight is not flying away. And you'll know, like immediately you'll know, once I say those words, flying away, you'll know in your gut, you'll know in your heart, if that's you that this applies to. Are you just flying away? And if you're flying away, where are you flying to? And why do you feel like you need to fly away to escape or to go towards or get out of your current situation? Because a lot of those times there's something deep inside that we're just not able to face, or we don't feel safe enough to face, or we're not able to, we're just ignoring it. And so the flying away, this flightiness, can just land us in another repetitive cycle. For some of you, this is going to come really strongly that this is the message, but it's for someone close to you, maybe a partner or something like that. And for the other half of you, for those of you who feel like you are just, like, you'd love this card, you'd love to be feeling like you're flying somewhere, you'd love to feel like you're going somewhere, anywhere, you just feel like things are just still the same place, they're still not really moving forwards. This is a very different message, because for you, this is really about, this is coming to you. You have to stay the course. You've come so far. You have, without realizing it, you have reconfigured so many patterns, so many difficult blocks that you would have had to face anyway in your life, but you've done it now. And so if you can just have a little bit more patience, hang on a little bit longer. For those of you who feel really stuck, like you really haven't gone anywhere in a long time, see if you can find joy in the tiniest, smallest, mundane things, like making your coffee really well, or sleeping in on the days that you don't have to set an alarm, or how good the flowers smell if you're in North America. Little tiny things, a beautiful storm if you're in the Southern Hemisphere and it's winter. Find joy in the mundane. It's gonna make this little step, these day-to-day steps when the days feel really long, it's gonna make it easier for you, and eventually, or bring that feeling of eventuality down to, okay, a few more steps, a few more blocks, because you're very close to a breakthrough. You just have to hold on a little bit longer. Like, staying the course is just so, so important right now. This gross little guy. I don't even know if he'll zoom in. No, anyway, it's gross. It's a tick. So we're gonna get rid of him. Goodbye. Okay, funny. So this is the third time I have pulled the moon card in 2 days from 3 different decks at 3 different times of day. And again, I mean, I'm really grateful for how these cards are playing into each other, because these two really go hand in hand. And what the message is coming through for the moon card, I'm going to start with the group of you that feels like things are really not moving very quickly. Feel into and reconnect with the phases of the moon, and remember how, or tune into the fact that we notice when the moon is full, because the energy gets intense, it's more visible in the sky, we can see it, we can feel it, we maybe don't sleep as well, the animals go wild, and then we kind of forget about it. And then all of a sudden, the moon is full again. And this is an entire rotation. She has gone through all of these phases. She's gone through crescents on both sides, and a half moon and a new moon, and it goes unnoticed. And so for the group of you who feel like things aren't really changing very quickly, know that in one revolution of the moon, in one changing of a moon cycle, so much can happen. And allow yourself to tune into the subtleties of how much can change in a month. So just use that as a guiding light. And honestly, for those of you who are really feeling stuck with time right now and feeling like things are really sluggish, watch the moon every day. Watch how she changes a little bit every day, and it'll make you feel a little bit more like things are actually moving for you. And for the other group, the group that is in the exciting but flighty, moving, things are shifting, not really knowing where you're going kind of feeling, what's coming through with the moon card is about being aware of the changes that you affect on other people. So what is your effect when you're around? Are you, like the moon, are you changeable in the sense where you're in harmony with the natural cycles and you're in harmony with what's happening holistically? Or are you just in this narrow focus of, this is how things need to be, this is the direction I'm going in, screw everybody else, I'm gonna make time happen for me, I'm really gonna force things, and this very sort of patriarchal, like, we're gonna make this fit mode of being, because it will work against you. And I think you already know that, but this card is really just a herald and a reminder that if you can pause and slide into that flexibility and that changeability of the moon and start listening more, start listening for signs more and observing instead of trying to act so much, things will get easier for you. So let that be a test until this next reading, until my next video. How much more can you listen when you'd rather act? I'm going to do one more card, and then I'm going to do something that I don't normally do. I'm going to do a twin flame reading for those of you who are on the twin flame journey or think you've met your twin flame. It's just coming up so much that I feel like I have to start including it in the collective readings. So I'm going to pull one more card for the collective, and then we'll move on to the twin flame reading. Yeah, okay, cool. I mean, this is a beautiful wrap up. But this is really a reminder, a heralding card, I know I use that word a lot, that everything is on the right track. And I know that it can feel like we're going through a deep purge and things can feel heavy right now. And all of these, you might be flighty, or you might be heavy, or you might be grieving or whatever, or you might feel like you're not going anywhere quickly, but holistically, things are really good and we're going in the right direction. This light energy that's coming to the planet, you will be able to absorb it. And so I love getting I just call it the bunny card, but I love getting this spring, lavender bunny card, because it really is this like, everything is good, happy, growing, loving expansion. Things are going to be okay. They are okay. You deserve this happiness, this peace, and this love that's coming towards you. Okay, for the twin flames of the world, I will get to doing a video about twin flames, what they are, and if you're supposed to stay with your twin flame if you meet them, blah, 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 which the short answer is no, you absolutely don't have to stay with your twin flame. But right now, if you are in a twin flame relationship, if you feel like you've met your twin flame, if you are feeling really drawn to the concept from one way or another, or you have met your twin flame and then never really reconciled, this is going to be for you. Okay, so here is the thing. This card, this dragonfly card, let's see if it'll focus here. There we go. Dragonflies are a massive overarching signifier. They're a totem of all that is, and life in its essence, and spirituality in its essence, and the general path in its essence. And we got it in reverse. And so for those of you in a twin flame relationship, whether you're in union or not, whether you're even talking to your twin flame or not, which for many of us, that is the case, that you're not in conversation with them at all. For those of you who are experiencing the twin flame ascension process right now, to deny the existence of this reality, to deny the fact that you have a twin flame that is out there, that the twin flame process is really about your own spiritual ascension. It is not about meeting your divine person that you're supposed to be with forever and create your life together and you live happily ever after. It's absolutely not like that. I have known my twin flame since 2017 and we are not together. And so I consider us in union in the sense that the spiritual mission that is required of us is in motion and in progress. But your twin flame is really about creating a catalyst for the spiritual ascension of taking you from average being human to recognizing your soul purpose and awakening the magic within and getting on to the spiritual path. Because if you've met your twin flame, it means that you are in a place in an evolutionary sense that you're ready for this spiritual ascension process, which means that you are being called to start doing the work, because the world, in order to survive and in order to ascend to the next level and to move to this place of new earth, this place of balance in humanity, we need your specific light. So I'm sorry, but you don't get to just live your 9-to-5 job and work in the forest and kind of pretend like everything's fine. It's not really like you've been chosen. It's just that your soul is ready to do this spiritual work. And so to deny that, to deny doing the spiritual work for yourself, not for your other person, not so that you can get back together, but for yourself on your own path in your own life, to deny that is really to deny your own purpose and your soul spiritual life itself. So I do twin flame readings for folks as well. So you can book with me via Instagram or through my email in the description box below. As for the new moon in Gemini reading, happy birthday to all my Gemini loves. And I am open for regular readings. I hope you had a very beautiful reminder that everything is going to be okay through this reading. And the music is my friends Dynasty Electric. You can check them out on YouTube. They're beautiful. They do really amazing sound baths. And if you haven't signed up for my newsletter or you're interested in my writing, I'm on medium.com or my newsletter as well. If you're on my Patreon, you'll get this video first. And I'm still working on the energy healing ebook. So if you'd like to donate via my PayPal to help me support that process and to birth this ebook to give to y'all, then I would love that very much. And I appreciate all your donations. Please, please, please like and share and comment for this video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you know when these readings come up. And blessings to all beings everywhere. And may you be happy, healthy, and well. Take care.